Every generation eventually believes it has truly understood money, not just improved the system, but genuinely understood it. They sincerely believe that risk is now controllable and that crises have become manageable, and they say this with great confidence, with new theories, charts, and different models. History, meanwhile, usually waits silently during moments exactly like these. Because even though technology changes and markets become faster, one thing never really changes: human behavior. And people love believing stories that make them feel safe. Especially this sentence, "This time is different." It is probably the most expensive sentence in financial history. It has repeated itself for centuries. Dutch merchants said it. Wall Street bankers said it. Technology investors said it. And every single time, people truly believed it. Because financial bubbles are usually born not from stupidity, but from overconfidence. People begin to think the system has become more advanced than before. They believe risk has been distributed, controlled, or even eliminated entirely. But history keeps showing us the same thing. Systems may change, but human nature does not change very much. Markets are actually less a reflection of mathematics and more a reflection of human psychology. Fear, greed, hope, and denial all become part of prices at the same time. And when enough people believe the same story, that story begins to feel real. It happened with tulip bulbs in the past, then with certain stocks, technology companies, and real estate. In reality, the idea never changes. Only the costume does. Every era finds new words to make its own story sound more modern and more convincing. Today, people talk about algorithms, artificial intelligence, and new economic models. But the core emotion is still the same. This time, the system is flawless. One of the biggest illusions people fall into is believing that endless growth is normal. Economies behave as if they are supposed to grow forever. And when growth slows down, instead of questioning or changing the system, people blame the obstacles. More credit is created, rules are loosened, and risk is pushed into the future. Because people usually prefer delaying problems rather than solving them. Another illusion is the belief that complexity creates safety. The more complex a system becomes, the safer people assume it is. But most of the time, complexity does not remove risk. It only makes risk harder to see. People want to believe that someone is in control. Maybe central banks, maybe experts, maybe major institutions. Because thinking this way feels comforting. But the reality is that most decisions are made under pressure and with incomplete information. And eventually, delayed costs always appear. Through debt, inflation, and crises. Most likely the most dangerous moment in economic cycles is not the collapse itself, but the moment when people become convinced that nothing can go wrong anymore. Because history usually changes direction exactly at that point. And the interesting part is this: these cycles do not happen because people are stupid. They happen because people forget the past. After every crisis, people promise to be more careful. But over time, fear fades away. Rules begin to look unnecessary, and being cautious starts to feel excessive. And the new people running the system have never personally experienced the previous collapses. The modern world did not slow this cycle down. It accelerated it. Information spreads faster, markets react instantly, but decisions are still made by humans, and human instincts have not changed very much. Short-term success is still mistaken for intelligence, and rising prices are still confused with real value. Perhaps the most important truth is this: no financial system is stronger than the psychology of the people operating it. History does not really teach us how to predict the future. It teaches us why people continue repeating the same mistakes. Because history is not a crystal ball we use to look into the future, it is a mirror. And in that mirror, people constantly see the same things, sacrificing long-term resilience for short-term comfort, delaying risks until later, and assuming the system will continue working forever. But progress does not completely change human nature. And the past never truly disappears. It only changes form.